For years, I told myself walking away was strength, but it wasn't. It was surrender, and I was done surrendering. My sister Rebecca excluded my 3 kids from her daughter's 7th birthday party because, in her words, your kids aren't important enough compared to Madison's real friends. Madison is my niece. My kids are her cousins. They'd been to every one of her birthday parties since she was born. Until this year. When I asked why, Rebecca looked me dead in the eye and said, "Some people matter more than others. That's just reality." She was right about one thing. It was reality. Her reality, the one where she got to decide whose children had value. But reality is negotiable when you have receipts, a lawyer, and 7 years of being the family doormat finally crystallizing into cold, strategic rage. Before we get into this, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country below, and like this video if you've ever been excluded from something that should have been automatic. My name is Sarah, and I'm the older sister who made all the practical choices. I married my college boyfriend at 23, had 3 kids by 30, became a teacher because the schedule worked with childcare, bought a modest house in a good school district, did everything right according to the middle-class playbook. My sister Rebecca took a different path. She married a tech executive at 28, had 1 child at 32, carefully planned, professionally photographed, Instagram ready. She's a wellness influencer with 47K followers. They live in a house that's been featured in Architectural Digest. We're different. That was always fine. Until it wasn't. My kids, Owen, 9, Lily, 7, and Connor, 5. Rebecca's kid, Madison, turning 7. For Madison's entire life, my kids have been at every birthday party. Every single one. First birthday, small family gathering, my kids were the entertainment. Second birthday, princess tea party, my kids dressed up. Third birthday, petting zoo, Owen helped Madison pet the goats when she was scared. Fourth birthday, Frozen themed, Lily and Madison sang Let It Go on repeat. Fifth birthday, swimming party, Connor taught Madison to jump off the diving board. Sixth birthday, art studio, all the kids made pottery together. We weren't just invited, we were part of it, family. 3 weeks ago, Rebecca posted on Instagram, planning Madison's 7th birthday extravaganza, fairy garden theme with a professional photographer, custom cake from Sweet Luxury, and surprises for her special people. #birthdayGirl, #MadisonTurns7, #fairy celebration. The party was 2 weeks away. I hadn't received an invitation. I texted, "Hey, saw the birthday post. What time should we arrive? The kids are so excited." 3 hours later, actually, this year we're keeping it more intimate. Just Madison's close friends from school and dance. Hope you understand. I stared at my phone. My kids, her cousins, not invited. I called instead of texting. This felt wrong enough to need actual conversation. "Rebecca, what's going on? The kids are really looking forward to Madison's party." I explained, "We're keeping it small this year." "Small? You posted about it publicly. How many kids are coming?" A pause. "About 25. 25 kids isn't small, Rebecca. It's small for the venue. The fairy garden setup requires specific numbers for the photographer. Are you seriously telling me there's no room for your niece and nephews?" Another pause. Longer. "Sarah, can I be honest with you? Please?" Madison is at an age where social currency matters. The kids coming are from families that, they're in her social circle. Your kids are sweet, but they don't really fit the dynamic we're creating. I felt like I'd been slapped. The dynamic you're creating? Rebecca, they're 7 years old. And 7 is when social hierarchies start forming. I'm not going to apologize for wanting Madison to have the right associations. The right associations? They're her cousins. "Sarah, look, your kids are great, but Owen still shops at Target. Lily's birthday party last year was at a public park. Connor has a speech delay. Madison's friends they're different. Their parents are different, and I need to be strategic about who Madison grows up around." The words hung there, each one a small detonation. You're excluding my children because they're not rich enough? Don't be dramatic. I'm curating an experience that reflects Madison's social reality. Your kids wouldn't fit in, and honestly, it would be awkward for everyone. Awkward for who? For Madison. She'd feel obligated to include them in games when she'd rather be with her real friends. For you, you'd see how different the other families are and feel uncomfortable. For me, I'd have to explain why my sister's kids don't match the aesthetic of the party I'm paying $8,000 for. $8,000 for a 7-year-old's birthday party? Rebecca, what happened to you? I grew up, I married well, I built a brand, and I'm not going to let nostalgia or guilt interfere with giving my daughter the life she deserves. And my kids don't deserve to be part of their cousin's life? A sigh. Sarah, your kids aren't important enough compared to Madison's real friends. That's just reality. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I'm done pretending we're in the same social class. We're not, and this party is going to reflect that. She hung up. I sat in my car in the grocery store parking lot, groceries melting in the trunk, and felt something break inside me. Not sadness, not shock, rage. That night, Owen asked, "Mom, when is Madison's party? I want to bring her that book about fairies she liked at Christmas." My heart cracked. Sweetheart, Madison's party is going to be just her school friends this year. It's a smaller party. Lily looked up from her coloring. But we're family. We always go to Madison's parties. I know, honey, but not this year. Connor, my 5-year-old with the speech delay Rebecca had called out, said, "Did we do something bad?" And that's when I knew. I wasn't letting this go. I'm a teacher. I'm practical. I'm the peacekeeper. But I'm also a mother, and my sister had just told my children, explicitly, by action if not by direct words, that they weren't good enough, that their clothes, their birthday parties, their speech patterns made them unworthy of their cousin. Rebecca had 7 years of playing the perfect life on Instagram. I had 7 years of watching her treat my family as less than. And I had something she didn't: documentation, witnesses, and a teaching background that meant I knew exactly how to build an evidence-based case. I started with Rebecca's Instagram. 7 years of posts. I downloaded everything. What I found was a pattern. Year 1 through 3, Madison ages 0 to 3, photos of family gatherings. So grateful for family. My kids featured prominently. Owen is the best big cousin. Comments about what matters most and keeping it real. Year 4 through 5, Madison ages 4 through 5, fewer family photos, more lifestyle content. My kids still present, but pushed to the background. Rising follower count, 5K to 25K, brand partnerships appearing. Year 6 through 7, Madison ages 6 through 7, almost no family photos. My kids completely absent after Madison's 6th birthday. Follower count, 47K. Regular sponsored posts, $. Language shift, curated life, intentional living, elevated experiences. She'd systematically erased us as her social status grew. The money trail. I knew Rebecca and her husband made good money, but I didn't know how good until I started digging. Public records showed home purchase, $2.4 million, 2019. Property taxes, $28K annually. 2 Tesla vehicles registered. Sponsored post rate, approximately $2,000 to $5,000 per post. Posting frequency, 15 to 20 sponsored posts monthly. Estimated annual influencer income, $360K to $1.2 million. Derek's LinkedIn, senior VP at tech company, likely pulling $400K plus base salary. Combined household income, easily over $750,000 annually. Meanwhile, my household, my teaching salary, $58K. My husband Mark's electrician income, $72K. Combined, $130K. Perfectly respectable, not wealthy. The gap wasn't just wide, It was a chasm, and Rebecca had decided that chasm meant my children didn't deserve a seat at the table. Plot twist number 1, the other exclusions. I called my mom. We'd always had a complicated relationship, but this felt bigger than our usual tensions. Mom, did you know Rebecca uninvited the kids from Madison's party? Silence. Mom? She mentioned she was having a more curated guest list this year. Curated? Mom, she excluded her niece and nephews. Sarah, Rebecca's under a lot of pressure with her brand. She needs to maintain certain standards. Standards that exclude her family? You have to understand, the people she's networking with. Oh my God, you knew. You knew she was doing this and you didn't say anything? I didn't want to get in the middle. There's no middle. There's right and wrong. She told me my kids aren't important enough, and you're okay with that? I'm not okay with it, but Rebecca's worked hard for what she has. She gets to decide how to protect that. At the expense of her niece and nephews? Sarah, not everything is an attack. Sometimes people's lives diverge. Rebecca's life has diverged from yours. That's not her fault. But excluding children from a family party because they shop at Target is her fault. She sighed. I think you're being overly sensitive. Rebecca's just trying to give Madison the best. By teaching her that some people matter less, that family is disposable if they're not wealthy enough, I'm not having this conversation. Because you're choosing her, again. I'd always been the difficult daughter, the one who questioned, who pushed back, who didn't just smile and accept. Rebecca was the golden child, the achiever, the one who made Mom look good at country club brunches. And now, Mom was choosing Rebecca's classism over my children's dignity. I decided to test whether this exclusion extended beyond just my kids. I called my cousin Jennifer. Her kids, ages 8 and 6, had also been at previous Madison parties. Jen, did you get an invite to Madison's birthday? No, actually, I was wondering about that. Rebecca posted about it, but I haven't heard anything. She told me she's keeping it intimate. Intimate? She's renting a venue and hiring a photographer. Did she say why your kids weren't invited? She didn't say anything, just nothing. We've been ghosted, basically. I called my Aunt Susan, Mom's sister. Her grandkids had also been regulars. Susan, Madison's birthday, are the kids invited? No, dear, Rebecca said she was doing just school friends this year. I was a bit hurt, but I didn't want to make waves. Did anyone else get excluded? Well, your cousin Tom's kids weren't invited either, and I don't think Rebecca invited anyone from Derek's side of the family except his parents. Invited, Madison's wealthy school friends, children of Rebecca's influencer network, Derek's executive colleagues' kids. Not invited, all family members except Derek's parents, anyone from average economic backgrounds. Rebecca hadn't just excluded my kids, she'd excluded everyone who didn't fit her aspirational brand. The party details. Through some strategic social media stalking, Madison's friends' mothers were public accounts, I pieced together what this party actually entailed. Venue, private estate garden, $3,500. Custom fairy garden setup, $2,000. Professional photographer, 4 hours, $1,800. Luxury bakery cake, $600. Catering for 50 people, kids plus parents, $2,500. Party favors from luxury boutique, $45 per child times 25 equals $1,125. Entertainment, face painting, balloon artist, fairy performer, $1,800. Total, approximately $13,325 for a child's 7th birthday party. And my kids, who'd helped Madison overcome her fear of animals, who'd sung with her, who'd taught her to swim, weren't worth $135 in party favor money. The plan forms. I spent 3 days processing. Then I made a decision. I wasn't going to beg Rebecca to include my kids. I wasn't going to argue about class and family values. I was going to do something better.
I was going to show Rebecca exactly what she was trading for her curated life, and I was going to do it publicly, calmly, and irrefutably.
I created a Facebook event, not Instagram, Facebook, where our actual family lived. Madison's real 7th birthday celebration, family edition. Date, same day as Rebecca's party, 10 a.m. Rebecca's started at 2 p.m. Location, Community Park Pavilion. Invitation, all family members, neighbors, and anyone who's ever actually cared about Madison as a person rather than a social media prop. Theme, celebrating 7 years of Madison, a photo journey. What to bring? Photos, memories, and stories of Madison from the past 7 years. We're making a memory book for her to have when she's older and wonders who actually loved her. I invited every family member Rebecca had excluded, Madison's former daycare teachers, neighbors who'd watched Madison grow up, my kids' friends, so they had playmates. I didn't invite Rebecca or Derek. This wasn't about confrontation. It was about showing Madison that love wasn't conditional on social status. 3 days before the party, I texted Rebecca. Just wanted to let you know we're having a family gathering from Madison on Saturday at 10 a.m. at Riverside Park. All the relatives you uninvited are coming. We're making a memory book for her with photos and stories from her first 7 years. You're welcome to stop by before your event if you'd like to participate. Either way, she'll have it when she's older. Her response came in under a minute. Are you seriously trying to upstage Madison's party? No, I'm making sure Madison knows she has family who loves her, whether or not we fit your aesthetic. This is manipulative and petty. It's neither. You excluded children from a family celebration for economic reasons. We're celebrating anyway. You can join us or not. Your choice. I'm telling Mom. Mom already knows. I invited her too. My mother called that night. Sarah, what are you doing? I'm throwing a party for my niece. You're trying to sabotage Rebecca's party. How? I'm having mine 6 hours earlier at a completely different location. Rebecca's guests won't even know about it. But the family that Rebecca excluded? Yeah, they're coming to mine. Turns out people like being included. Rebecca is devastated. She excluded her niece and nephews because they're not rich enough. Forgive me if I don't prioritize her feelings. You're making her look bad. And there it was. I'm not making her look bad, Mom. I'm holding up a mirror. If she looks bad, it's because her actions are bad. She's worked so hard for what she has, and that gives her the right to treat children like they're disposable? That's not what she's doing. Then what is she doing? Explain to me how excluding family members because they shop at Target is anything other than cruel. Silence. Mom, are you coming to my party or Rebecca's? I have to go to Rebecca's. I already RSVP'd. She needs me there. To do what? Stand next to her while she takes Instagram photos with rich people's kids? Sarah, don't make me choose. I'm not making you choose. Rebecca already made you choose when she decided some grandchildren matter less than others. I'm just asking you to be honest about which side you picked. Mom started crying. Why can't you just let this go? Why do you always have to make things difficult? Because someone has to teach my kids that they matter, and apparently their grandmother won't. I hung up. Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m., I was at Riverside Park setting up. My husband Mark had arrived early with my kids to put up decorations. Not fancy, just colorful streamers and a Happy 7th Birthday Madison banner made by the kids. By 10 a.m., we had 12 kids, my 3 plus cousins, neighbors, 18 adults, aunts, uncles, family friends, a potluck spread of homemade food, a poster board for people to sign birthday messages, and a table covered with printed photos of Madison from birth to now. Most importantly, a memory book. I'd spent the week creating a scrapbook with sections for each year of Madison's life. Family members had contributed. Photos from holidays, birthdays, random Sundays, handwritten notes about favorite memories, drawings from the cousin kids, a timeline of Madison's firsts, first steps, first words, first time swimming. Every photo showed the same thing, family. Not curated, not aesthetic, just people who loved her. At 10:45, a car pulled into the parking lot. Rebecca and Madison got out. The confrontation. Rebecca stalked over, Madison trailing behind in a $300 fairy dress that was clearly not supposed to get dirty yet. What the hell is this? A birthday party for Madison. We're celebrating her. You're trying to ruin her real party. Her real party is in 3 hours. This is her family party. Different events. Madison was staring at the banner, the decorations, the table of photos. She looked confused. Aunt Sarah, is this for me? It is, sweetie. We wanted to celebrate with you before your big party later. But I didn't know about this. I know, your mom decided you shouldn't come, but I wanted to make sure you knew how much we love you, so we're celebrating anyway. Rebecca's face was crimson. Madison, get back in the car. But Mom, car, now. Rebecca, I said calmly, you can leave if you want, but at least let Madison see what we made her. I held up the memory book. Madison's eyes went wide. Is that me? 7 years of you. Every birthday, every holiday, every random Tuesday, all the people who've loved you since you were born. I opened to a page showing infant Madison with Owen, then 2, holding her carefully. Caption, Owen's first time holding his cousin. He told everyone she was his baby. Next page, Lily and Madison at age 4, both in princess dresses, mid-twirl. Caption, the day they decided they were twin princesses from different kingdoms. Next, Connor teaching Madison to jump off the diving board last summer. Caption, Connor practiced for 3 hours to be brave enough to show Madison how to do it. He said cousins help each other not be scared. Madison reached for the book. Rebecca grabbed her hand. We're leaving. But Mom, I want to see. I said we're leaving. She dragged Madison back toward the car. Madison looked back at us, at the park, at the potluck, at the memory book, tears starting to form. My nephew Owen, 9 years old, stepped forward. Aunt Rebecca, Madison can take the book with her. We made it for her to keep. Rebecca stopped, turned. You want to know why you weren't invited? This right here. Your mother can't let go of the past and accept that people grow. Madison is growing into something better than this. She gestured at the park, the potluck, the regular people, and I'm not going to let her drag her back down. The silence was absolute. Then my Aunt Susan spoke. Aunt Rebecca, do you hear yourself? Stay out of this. You just called your family down. You just told this beautiful little girl, she pointed at Madison, that the people who've loved her unconditionally since birth aren't good enough for her? That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. My cousin Jennifer stepped forward. And for what? Instagram followers? A house you can't afford? A fake life? My life is not fake. Then why are you here? I asked quietly. Your party starts in 3 hours. You have a photographer waiting, catering arriving, 25 rich people's kids. Why did you drive 20 minutes to a public park if my party doesn't matter? Rebecca's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Because, she finally said, voice breaking, because I knew if Madison saw this, she'd want to stay, and I can't have her wanting this instead of what I've built. And there it was, the truth. She wasn't protecting Madison from us, she was protecting her artificial life from reality. Madison pulled her hand free from Rebecca's grip. I want the book. Madison, I want the book, and I want to see the photos, and I want to stay. We have to get ready for your real party. This is a real party. Madison's voice was small but firm. These are my cousins. That's Owen and Lily and Connor. They're always nice to me. Why can't they come to my other party? Rebecca looked at her daughter, at us, at the choice she'd created. Because, she said slowly, because Mommy made a mistake. Everyone froze. What? I said. Rebecca's perfect composure cracked. I made a mistake. I thought if I could build the perfect life, give Madison the perfect opportunities, surround her with the right people, she'd be happy, she'd be successful, she'd be more than I was. And you'd ruin that? My mom said quietly. We all turned. Mom was standing at the edge of the parking lot. She'd come after all. You'd remind her that perfect isn't real, Rebecca said, tears starting. That family is messy and complicated, and sometimes people shop at Target and have speech delays and throw parties at public parks, and I didn't want her to think that was okay. I wanted her to know she deserved more. And more than love? Mom asked. Rebecca broke down completely. Madison walked over to the memory book and picked it up. She sat on the picnic bench and started turning pages slowly. Nobody moved. After a long moment, Madison looked up at her mother. "Mom, can Owen, Lily, and Connor come to my party?" Rebecca wiped her eyes. "There's no room." "Yes, there is. You told me we invited 25 kids because that's what the photographer said was best, but we could do 28. If we did 28, could they come?" "Madison, please, they're my cousins. The book says they loved me since I was born. I want them at my party." Rebecca looked at me. I looked back. "The offer stands," I said calmly. "You can stay here for a bit. Look at the book with Madison, eat some potato salad. Then everyone's welcome to come to your fancy party. All of us. Or none of us. Your call. And if I say no, then we finish our party here, you go to yours, and Madison has this book to look at when she's older and wonders why half her family disappeared from her life." Rebecca stayed for 40 minutes. She sat with Madison, looked through the book, ate my neighbor's homemade cookies. She didn't apologize with words, but she listened when Connor told Madison about learning to be brave enough to swim. She smiled, genuinely, when Owen gave Madison the fairy book he'd been planning to bring. At 11:30, she stood up. "Madison's party is at 2 p.m. at Rosewood Estate Gardens. All family is invited. I'll text you the address. The photographer is expecting 28 kids now instead of 25. "Rebecca," I started. "Don't. Just come. Please." She took Madison's hand, gently this time, and left. 3 months later. We went to the fancy party. All of us. Aunts, uncles, cousins, the kids. My kids wore their Target clothes. Connor had his speech delay. We didn't fit the aesthetic. But we were there. And Madison spent half the party with the rich kids and half with her cousins, and somehow the world didn't end. 3 weeks after the party, Rebecca posted on Instagram, "I've been doing a lot of thinking about what matters. I built a platform celebrating intentional living and curated experiences, but somewhere along the way, I forgot that the most important experiences can't be curated. Family is messy. Love is complicated, and perfection is a lie I was selling to myself more than anyone else. I'm taking a break from sponsored content to figure out what I actually value. Thanks for following along. Heart." Her follower count dropped by 8,000 in 2 weeks. She didn't seem to care. We're not close. We may never be close, but we're talking, really talking, for the first time in years. Last week, she said, "I was so afraid of being average, of being like everyone else. I thought wealth meant worth, and I almost taught my daughter the same lie." What changed your mind? Madison. She kept the memory book on her nightstand. Every night she'd pick a page and tell me a story about it. She remembered things I'd forgotten. Connor teaching her to swim. Owen playing fairies with her when she was 3. Lily sharing her Halloween candy. And I realized those were her actual favorite memories, not the branded experiences, not the curated moments, just family. Kids know what matters. Yeah, they do, and I almost taught mine that family doesn't. Owen, Lily, and Connor don't fully understand what happened. They know there was a misunderstanding about the party. They know Aunt Rebecca made a mistake. But they also know they went to 2 parties that day, and that Madison still calls them to video chat every week. That's enough for them. My mother apologized. Not immediately, it took 6 weeks, but she called me one Tuesday evening and said, "I chose wrong. I chose Rebecca's pride over your children's dignity. I told myself I was staying neutral, but there was no neutral. There was right and wrong, and I chose wrong." Why are you telling me this now?
Because I've spent 6 weeks watching Rebecca unravel her perfect life, and I realized I helped build that prison. Every time I praised her achievements over your character, every time I made excuses for her excluding you, I told her that image mattered more than integrity. I helped make her into someone who could look at her niece and nephews and see them as not important enough. Mom, let me finish. I also need to apologize for 42 years of making you feel like the difficult one. You weren't difficult, you were honest, and I punished you for it because honest is harder to manage than compliant. Rebecca was easy to love because she made me look good. You were harder to love because you made me think, and I'm sorry. I cried, she cried. We're working on it. Madison still has the book. It sits on her bookshelf, well worn now from repeated readings. Last month she asked if we could make an update for year 8. We are. This time, Rebecca's helping. Epilogue. What I learned. People ask me if I was too harsh, if I made things worse. Here's what I know. Before the party, my kids learned that family love was conditional on economic status. After the party, they learned that family love means showing up even when you're not wanted, and that sometimes you have to throw your own party to prove a point. I'd rather teach them the second lesson. Rebecca didn't change because I argued with her. She changed because I showed her what she was losing. The memory book wasn't an attack, it was evidence. Evidence that wealth could never buy what she already had and was throwing away. She needed to see it in photos, in handwritten notes, in her daughter's face as she realized her cousins loved her without conditions. Some people need to see the cost before they'll change the price. So here's what I want to know. If your sibling excluded your kids from their child's party because you weren't important enough, what would you do? A. Cut contact entirely. B. Confront them privately. C. Do what I did, throw a parallel party. D. Let it go to keep peace. Drop your answer in the comments. Second question. Was the memory book manipulative or necessary? Some people say I was guilt-tripping Rebecca. Others say I was just showing Madison she was loved. What do you think? And the big one? Can you maintain family relationships across class divides? Rebecca and I now exist in different economic worlds. Can we still be sisters? Or does money always win? I don't know yet, but I'm trying.